This is our Thursday video for Math 6. It's April 9th. So I want to start out with a story, tell you a little bit about myself. And now that we have Google directions, if I'm going somewhere, I just type in where I want to go and puts me on Google Maps and tells me how far I need to go and all of that. Well, before Google Maps, when I would go on vacation, when Mr. Gilbert and I were younger, we would actually use an atlas, and we love our adventures. So we would take an atlas and we would pick where we were going to go, and I would be the navigator and I would follow along and say, well, we have about 10 miles until the next town, or about 50 miles left in our journey. And so in order to use an atlas, I had to be able to use a scale. And a scale, because on our map that's this big, how would I know it was 10 miles? Because I can't put 10 miles on that piece of paper. Well, if you've ever noticed, when you're doing mapping, at the very bottom, there's a little scale. And the scale would say, well, for each inch is 10 miles. And so I could get out my little ruler and say, well, it's about 1 inch, so we have about 10 miles. Or it's half an inch, so we have 5 miles left. And I would use that scale. And I really loved doing that. I'm kind of sad about Google taking that joy away from me. So let's look today as we start to learn about scale. And scale has to do with the proportions that you've been learning. Okay, so on page 264, you see those different kinds of horses. And in the picture, are horses really that small? No, but in the picture, we compare what's measured in centimeters. Okay? So it says the scale for these drawings is 1 centimeter. Actually, in real life, equals 35 centimeters. So the scale is 1 to 35. I should put the centimeters in there. Okay? Which means for every 1 centimeter on the picture, it actually equals 35 centimeters in real life. So what is the actual height of the Shetland pony? Well, if I say 1 is to 35, then I can set that equal to however many centimeters the Shetland pony is. So you have to get out your ruler. You have to measure in centimeters the Shetland pony, and it looks like they got 2.6. So the Shetland pony on the picture is actually 2.6 centimeters. So we want to find out how tall is that Shetland pony in real life. Well, it's the same thing we were doing yesterday. We're going to cross multiply, and we get that our x, or our missing number n, is equal to 35 times 2.6. Okay? So our Shetland pony height equals 91 centimeters. Okay. It goes on to ask you the height of the Hackney pony and the Palomino. Okay, and you would set those up the same way. Let's move on though down to the map. The scale for this map of Oregon is 1 centimeter equals 28 kilometers. So for every 1 centimeter I go, in real life, it covers 28 kilometers. Okay, and then it says, what is the actual straight distance? That means you don't have to follow the curves in the road. You can just put it on the dots, okay, with your ruler. What is the straight distance from Riley to Harper? So I look on my map and I see Riley and Harper. I'm going to get out my ruler and I'm going to measure that distance. When you measure it, you should get 6.4 centimeters. So on the map, so remember, this is map, this is real life. So I want to keep my map measurement up here, 6.4 to n, okay, kilometers. Okay, so now I have a problem that we can do. I cross multiply and I get that my number will equal 28 times 6.4. So the distance equals 179.2. And what should this answer be in? Kilometers. Okay, it should be in kilometers. Okay, so I hope that gives you an idea of what scale is. It's just another way to use ratios to figure things out. So I hope you enjoyed that, and maybe the next time you go somewhere you can pull out an atlas and use your scale. Let's go ahead and do numbers 1. Let's do 1 through 10.